Today on our Montana Homestead in FS25, it's now September and harvest time is here for our sorghum field. We've got some creative temporary storage on our little farm, and we've got a big job ahead harvesting all 22 acres with this small rental harvester. Let's go. You can find a link to this playlist in the description below, or check the channel page for other farming series you might like. Well guys, welcome back to our homestead here in Montana. It is September, and our sorghum field is ready to harvest. Look at this. This is beautiful. So this month, that's what we're working on. And notice we have some money. Did some contracts. Made good use of August. Put some hours on the tractor. Got some work done. Made us some money. So one thing I want to show you guys, if you saw last episode, if you've seen the previous episodes in the series, and you kind of know where we're at with the homestead and what the deal is. If not, I'll explain in 1 second. I'll just go over the rules really quickly if you're not familiar with it. But there's a link down in the description below to our playlist here. This is the 3rd episode, so we're not that far along. So I'll go over the rules, but first I want to tell you about something, what's the thing I built that's behind me. So, remember I was saying, all right, so given our rules, we don't have a harvester or anything like that. So in order to harvest our field, we're going to have to rent a harvester. And I said, so we need to figure a way to store. I said, what, there's like 5 options, right, for the grain. You know, what do we do with the grain? Do we store it? Do we build a silo and store it? Do we sell it right off? Do we send it into production? What do we do with the grain? I found us a 6th option. And it's right here. I thought this was really clever and cool. So these are basically like temporary silos. So there's a 6th option, and that is temporary wire silos. It's a little mod I found. I was like, oh, this is cool. What I did was I built these 2 sheds. And I'll be darned, these things fit right inside of them. So I just thought this was really cool and clever. So our first month, our first year here on the farm, we have some temporary silos. These only cost about, I don't know, $1,200, I think, a piece. To hold, these should be enough to hold the entire field's harvest. We'll see. We're, of course, going to have to get an auger. So regarding the homestead here, this is the 3rd episode, so those of you watching the series would know what we're doing. If not, I'll put the rules just up on the screen here. So here's the 6 basic rules I've gone over, right? And I'll just summarize them. The summary of it is basically you start with a large piece of land, only the equipment you can bring with you, and yeah, you make it from there. So if you need to read the rules to see what exactly I'm talking about, just go ahead and pause the video. But yeah, it's basically, it's like a homestead, right? You get a big piece of land, you get only what you can take with you, and you make a farm out of it. So here we are, the beginning of our, we've been here 1 month. All right, so we're going to need an auger for these. And I think I have just the thing here at the store. Now, as I said, before I started the challenge here, I set us up with a bunch of mods. And I showed in the first episode, I scrolled through them all very briefly, but in regards to planning out things I may need along the journey. And this right here was one of them. I thought, hey, I may want an affordable, screw conveyor, auger. Same thing with a lot of equipment. I went through, I thought of, before I started this, I thought of a lot of the equipment that we may use and sourced cheap alternatives to them, because as I've said before, and as is obvious in the real world, you can buy cheap farm equipment. So what we're going to do is we're going to get, one with the motor down at the bottom. Okay, so this comes 5 meter or 6.5 meters. What do you think? I think let's go with 6.5 meters. It's hard for me to tell exactly, and I've never used this. Here's the thing. The store is a few minute drive away, so hopefully this is not too long, and hopefully we can angle it. Surely we can change the angle. I don't know. I haven't used this auger. That might be tall enough. Let's hope that we can change the angle. So I'm going to get this configured. There we go. Figured I'd match the, here, let's match the color of our tractors. Let's get the, now does that matter? No, it doesn't matter in the least. But our equipment does look nice in that most of it does match. It was largely a happy accident. So I just ticked the clock over into September. I'm here with you guys. I can only plan this so far as I can plan it. I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't tried this auger. We need to get that out to the farm. We also need to rent a harvester. We need to get to work on this. So that's what we're doing today. Yeah, we're getting to work on our field. Look at this. We have 22 acres of sorghum to harvest. In the future, of course, these silos are just temporary. Obviously, that tent is temporary. I've got some ideas for the layout here, but the first step, the first thing to do, Actually, let's see if there's anything interesting on sale that can help us out on our journey. And no, this is the same stuff that was on sale last month. We'll have to wait for that to cycle through. Okay, now that auger, let's move some of this stuff around here. I'm going to take the trailer because I don't know if the auger itself has a hitch or not. It's about a 3 or 4 minute drive to the store because this is a very large map. Look at this. Oh, beautiful Montana, big sky country. It's a long drive to the store. I don't want to show up without the correct means to transport the pipe. So I got to move this stuff. I'm going to park this stuff in here so I can get to the trailer and we're going to get down to the store. Now, among the mods that we're using, we are using realistic weather, which adds moisture dynamic to the crops. I've not done any irrigation on our field. I thought about it. I forgot. I didn't. Our field also has weeds in it because, well, we don't have a weeder or anything yet. One thing's for sure. It was kind of tricky turning this trailer around. I had to back it down our little driveway there. We need to, well, once we harvest this, well, actually, as we harvest this, the first thing we do before I start going up and down the rows of the field, the first thing we're going to do with the harvester is cut some pathways so we can move around easier. Yeah, a little bit. I'll cut a path to the road, a place to turn around, and stuff like that. Once we get the field harvested, oh, look at this. Beautiful harvest season out here in Montana. Once we get a path cut out to the road, or once we get the field harvested, we can, oh, that'll be fun, because then we can really start setting up the farm. With the field clear, we can start marking out places in the field where things are going to be built, you know, or at least places, yeah, the places for things to be built, get an idea of the layout. We're going to, obviously, that big 9-hectare field is going to become, I explained the layout last video, it's going to be broken up into 4 fields in the front, then the farm, there'll be room for an animal pasture, etc. We can start getting that stuff kind of, you know, surveyed, I guess you could say, laid out. So we got a bit of a drive to the store. You know, hang on, hold up a sec. Before, I was just going to drive there, but 1 second. Let's, it looks like it's going to rain, doesn't it? Yeah, but we're good. It's not forecasted till tonight. All right, it's not saying till later on. Okay, well, yeah, it looks like a rainy day. Boy, wouldn't that suck? I'm just running 1-day months. Wouldn't it suck if we got rained out of the harvest? Anyway, I'll see you guys down at the store. So here we are in Moccasin. That's the northern town on the map of Judith Plains. I like that name, Moccasin. Cool name for a town out west. And I was thinking on the way here, one great thing about having the trailer with us is, well, I don't know if we'll need it for the auger or not, but it may not be a bad way to transport the harvester back there. That we're here to, among other things, rent a harvester. Yeah. Now, we also need a tipper. I haven't secured one yet because I was waiting to see if one would go on sale today. We've got plenty of money to buy one. So, still haven't secured. I still don't know for sure about that. It's likely we'll end up making a few trips to town today. It's definitely a fair few minutes to drive down here. It's a pretty drive, though, even though it's cloudy. It's a beautiful map. It's really pretty out here. So I don't mind driving down here. Now, let's see how we're going to transport the auger. I kind of thought that it might hitch, but I thought the trailer wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's see, let's pull up back here and have a look at this. And also, yeah, let's have a look at, while we're here, we can still modify it if it's too short or too long. I think that's just the right length. I think that's perfect, especially if we can lean it over a little bit. Yes, it does have a hitch. It definitely has a hitch. In fact, if I'd looked closer, I would have noticed that looking at it because I can see it here. All right, let's see. Oh, let's pull up the controls. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so unfolded, raise. Okay, perfect. This is all I need to see. Can we, if it's too tall, can we lower it? See, that's going to be necessary because oh yeah, you can see that little telescoping thing go up and down and the little bipod on the wheels there. So yeah, see, we've got that temporary wire silo and I put it underneath a shed on just the right height of shed. So this has got to sneak in a pretty narrow tolerance there and it's not going to be a problem. Okay, yeah. What's this thing's top speed? 4? Okay, I was just checking. Just checking. So yeah, driving this there, not an option. We're going to want to tow it. We don't have a hitch behind the trailer. We don't. Okay. Fair. So we kind of know what we're doing here. We're going to pull that back. Let's think here. Well, I don't want to rent the harvester until it's time for the harvester. Because we're going to be leasing the harvester, right? And I don't want to have it out paying for it for, I don't want to be, I'd rather not be making trips back and forth to town while the harvester's on the clock. This has got to be out there because we need it to dispense grain into the silo. So we're going to leave our trailer here. Take this. Ooh, that's pretty, wow. It's kind of, it's really right up in there, ain't it? All right. Well, I'm making this down to the farm. Yeah, there's going to be some driving today. If you look down there, we're only on the second day of the farm, right? We just rolled over into September. Notice this tractor's got almost 5 hours on it. Yeah, the driving distances on this map are a thing. I'll see you guys down at the farm. And as far as, travel time goes, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to pick us up a truck, to have a look at a truck. Yeah, especially if we see one on sale. Because I'm thinking about it, transporting everything with this tractor at 30 miles an hour. Oh, I should have slowed down for that. Yeah, we'd be a lot better off, in a truck at 50 miles an hour. That's something we should have a look at. If we've got extra money, I don't want to spend it right now. I don't want to spend all our money on a pickup truck when... Yeah, but we'll keep an eye out for that. All right, we finally made it out here. Now, we're going to want to see... This should work nicely, but let's get out here and let's check this guy out. Okay, so I'm going to get this in position. Now, we're going to want to have a look at a tipper. One with a grain door, preferably a tipper with a grain door that can easily be backed up. There's some affordable, we'll have to look at the tippers. There's some affordable tippers that we kind of chucked out a little bit last episode. But they're gravity dump tippers. And, oh, look at this. Oh, that is like, hang on. Perfect. I hardly had to adjust it at all. And you don't want a gravity dump tipper with, with an auger like this. It's almost impossible to get the discharge into the thing. Look at that. That is perfect. No. Okay, so when I fold it, it folds away the hitch. Okay, perfect. All right. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, so I found these wire silos on a mod site. I don't remember if it was Mod Hub or not because I was using the computer, on the internet, not in game, right? So I don't remember where I got them from. But they cropped up. They were just perfect. I also picked up like a wire corn crib while I was at it. I just thought they were really cool little structures. I already had this auger. This auger was something I had just because I like it. Because I like flat bottom bin silos. Yeah, anyway, it all worked out really good. So we got that there. The next step is let's have a look. Let's have a look at tippers. We need tippers for the farm. We just need something to transport the grain with. These guys, I like the price, but there's no grain door. Now this guy has an auger. This guy comes with his own auger. See, I like the price. It's very starter farm friendly. Actually, it's got an auger, but also it's got a ramp at the bottom of that, so it'll discharge off to the side. I think this is worth giving a shot. But what else have we got? So this guy here will hold up to 15. Of course, there's no guarantee that's grain. Yeah, you always want to check that because it could be silage. Okay, yeah. Because sometimes they have the extended. Yeah. So this guy's really cool. Look, I got it to match our colors, but you know what? I think I might have problems lining this up with our auger. This has an auger it discharges from, but it just kind of think about it. We've got this thing with a swivel front axle and an auger. So trying to swivel this thing and line up its auger with that auger, that sounds like a nightmare. We're going to get this guy here. Yeah, we're going to go with this. It's a little more expensive at $16,700, but we got some money. This is, yeah, Ooh, man, it's beautiful out here. It's better guaranteed to work, you know, for what we need. In that, I think it looks better, and that's the thing. Also, it's got a grain door in the back. It's got a grain door. I can back it up to the auger, although it's got a swivelly axle. Harder to back up, but it's got a grain door in the back. I think it might be hard, because if you've ever had to position an auger over another auger, it's kind of finicky, right? So let's go down there. We're gonna, well, we got to rent a harvester. I'm not sure if we're gonna drive the harvester back or put it on the trailer, but one way or another, we're gonna get the harvester down here, and we need to get it to work because the harvester we're renting has, well, it's not very big, and it's got a lot of acreage to harvest, so we want to get on that. So I had a lot of time to think on the way down here, and I think I know what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to lease the harvester. See, we've got to get the harvester down there and this tipper. It's not a short drive, it's kind of long. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to drive the trailer home with the tractor, and this is not something I do very often, like at all, but it's totally viable. We're going to see if we can hire someone to drive the harvester back for us. Now, usually I do everything myself, but I think this is more than fine. So let's get this guy rented because we need to get to work with it. I got this guy right here for us. Remember this little guy from FS25? Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to lease this guy. I don't think any of these things matter. Actually, does CVT add any money? No, then we'll go CVT. And designs don't matter. We don't care. We're going to go ahead and lease. And $3,800. Yep, that's what we planned for. And now, you know, how much horsepower does this thing got? This guy will push a bigger header. It comes with a 5-meter header, but you know, just saying, if we ran a 6-meter header on it, right? All right, so we leased that for $1,500. All right. Yeah, right out of the gate, it's a little questionable here. Before we leave the parking lot, we want to make sure that header will work with this harvester. And what I figured we'd do is, see, here's the thing. The drive from the shop, 90% of the drive from the shop is this long stretch of straight road right here, which takes several minutes to drive down. So I figured we'd get this to that stretch of road, and then I'll just set it, I'll just hire a worker on a job to drive to the farm, just down that straight stretch of road. That'll knock out most of the, what the heck? I'm hung up on the trailer here. Let me get this hitched up. All right, so it hitches to it. Does it look fine? Yeah. Oh, actually, hold up. Well, yeah, you know what? Let's not mess with that. All right, it's my fault. There was a $1,500 gamble. I'm sure it probably would have been fine, but you know what? I don't want to mess with it, so hey, I took a gamble. It probably would have worked. However, I have had issues. Okay, return. My fault. I've had issues with headers dragging on the ground before, and it's slowing the harvester down. Or rather, I've had times when the harvester slowed down, and I was left to question, is it because this is dragging? I can't tell. And I don't want a variable like that getting in the way. It was a fun thought. Honestly, any other header probably would have worked. That header in particular had those long, things sticking out. All right, so we lost $1,500. No big deal. You win some, you lose some. I'm going to get this out there to the road, and we're going to hire a worker and send this down to the farm, and we'll grab the tipper, and we'll drive that out there ourselves. Yeah, because this has got a top speed of 13 miles an hour. Yeah, so the other option would be load it on the trailer and make 2 trips with the tractor. So we're going to try this. I maybe could have sent this from the dealership. I just want to take it to where it's got a straight shot, so there's less variables. I also turned off the traffic, like just in case, right? Because I don't want any snags. I want them to drive it down there nice and whatever. So yeah, I called ahead to the county and had the cars stopped on this road, right? So let's see. I don't do this very often, but we're going to want to, so target position, target rotation, start jobby. All right. Godspeed, my friend. I told him to shut down the traffic. You should be fine all the way. All right. He's going down there. All right. let's hop back to our tractor. Okay, and we're gonna get down there with this. Hopefully that little trick saved us some time. It's a long drive down to the farm. So, we're gonna go, no doubt we'll catch up to him on the road, and yeah, we'll have a fun little convoy down to the farm. I'll catch up with you guys in just a moment. Well, here's our friend. We caught up to him a little ways down the road. Yeah, we could pass him and get there first, but we can't do anything without the harvester. We need the harvester to start the job. Now, even following him at a mere 13 miles an hour, we're still ahead. We're still saving time because we're saving an entire trip to the store. So I guess I'm going to follow him out to the field. This is kind of cool. I really never use... I really never hire drivers to drive places. I just always do everything myself. So this is kind of cool. And here we are. This is our field right here. Yeah, he did good all the way. Is he going to stop? Yeah, he stopped pretty good. All right, so let's get this... well, let's go ahead and let's get down here to our farm. So the first place we're going to want to harvest. First, we're going to want to widen our little parking area there, of course. We're going to harvest out a spot to turn around and harvest out a decent path up to the road. Get some room to move around here and along this side of the field too. Yeah, we're going to basically just expand all of our spaces to move around in. Let's go ahead and just park this guy right here. All right, guys, here we go. Look at this beautiful field ready to be harvested. First things first, let's go ahead and just cut a line straight down south here. All right, so first we'll give us some extra room to move around between the fields here. We'll cut some space around our silo area. I'm glad we got the trailer that we got. You know, we could have got... let's turn these lines off. They're ugly. You know, I was really looking at that smaller trailer, but you want a trailer that's got a hopper at least the size of the harvester, right? I forget exactly the size of this hopper. It's not big, but yeah. I decided to go with the 15,000 liter trailer. Yeah, you want a trailer with a hopper that will preferably hold like 2 loads from the harvester. Otherwise, it's kind of silly, because otherwise, why are we using a tipper at all? Yeah, if we use a small tipper, we may as well just keep running the harvester back and forth to the silo, and actually that's not impossible, actually. I mean, you know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even consider that we didn't need a tipper technically, but every farm needs a trailer at some point. Now we've got one. Yeah, this is going to be a big job for this little harvester. If you weren't envisioning it, now you see why. I was looking to squeeze an extra meter, if I could, out of header width. That would have saved us, but that one was iffy. It could have slowed down the harvester, you know, could have drugged the ground. I could have tried a different one, but I didn't want to waste any more money. I'm not going to hit the tractor, am I? I don't think so. Let's see. Ah, drat. I'm gonna move my tractor here. Well, the whole idea here is we're gonna make more room to drive between the fields, and that won't be an issue. So once we finish this run down here, well, this will give us a really good measurement of how we can expect to, oh, 1 second here. Well, you see right there, that's not just trampled crop. I put grass there, so I just realized the map is reading that as not a field. So here, if we look at the map for the field, yeah, it's creating headlands and everything around our little area there, which is, I hadn't thought of that. Okay, I was like, why did the harvester stop there? All right, now before we do this southern headland, I'm gonna come back up here. I think it's important that we harvest the area around, you know, our silos so we can move around them better. Get some room to park equipment and such like that. So I'm just gonna eyeball this around here. I never thought about that though, that it's yeah, auto-generating a driving path for us here. We can turn these off. We don't need those. They're actually distracting. We're just gonna get through here. Once we get this, you know, harvested, we're gonna have room. We can build us a proper house. You know, no more tent, or at least maybe start with a small shack or something, because you know we don't have much money. We might start by just building a small shack or something to sleep in. Shed. Anything is better than that tent. We'll see about that. First, we're gonna get some more area cleared around here, and we'll empty out this harvester. Yeah, I'm eager to try out our wire silos. Very cool. I've never seen anything like those. Never seen that. I mean, in real life, sure, I've seen things like that, but I haven't seen a mod like that. I wasn't looking for that mod. I went to look for any kind of cheap, small, unique little silos that we could use, and those things popped up and they were perfect. Let's go ahead, and we're already in the harvester. We're right here by the silo. We'll just discharge straight into the silo and see how this works. I left the conveyor running, I believe. Is that cedar going to be in the way? Let me move that cedar. All right, let's see here how our new silo works. Ha ha ha, perfect. Oh, this is awesome. Is it going in there? Yeah, it's going in there. So it says a total capacity of 74,000 liters. So yeah, I figure between the two of these, it's 150,000 liters. By my guesstimation, that should be enough for this. Wait, does our tooltips here have a projected... no, sometimes these tooltips give you... Actually, yeah. Potential harvest quantity. The tooltips are estimating 86,000 liters. Yeah, so I figured two of these would be enough. Okay. Oh, it's so cool. So yeah, guys, our little wire silo works. That's awesome. So, hey. All right, we can get to harvesting now. Yeah, I think we've got a good start here. I'm gonna start heading up and down these rows. Let's see here. Yeah. Let's get to harvesting. We got a beautiful September ahead of us. We could check out some other things here while we're harvesting. Let's have a look at contracts. Just kind of see if there's anything to do here while we're heading up the row. Remember the rules, we can use leased machines, you know, we can use borrowed equipment for contracts, but we have to use our own tractor. So no. Irrigation, we're going to need a water trailer, so I'll look at getting one. Right now, there's really not much contract work we can do. We'll have a look at that. Yeah, so running realistic weather, irrigation is a thing, so we'll want to look at a trailer to do that with. That's going to take some testing. I've done that one time. If you guys recall back when we did that series in Oak Ridge Farm, I tried it once. It was when the irrigation mechanic of realistic weather was brand new. It had just come out with that, and it used the water so fast that it emptied my entire water trailer before I was even down one row, and I said, forget this, but maybe it's been adjusted since then, maybe a different trailer. I'm going to have to toy around with that. I want the irrigation thing to work. I mean, it does. There's an irrigation mechanic that does it passively, but I want to actually do it with the tractor. You know, I want to drive the tractor spraying water on the crops myself. Hopefully we can get that to work. We'll see about that. But anyway, I mentioned that because there's irrigation contracts on there. I would like to do them so long as the water trailers don't run out every half a second. Well, we'll see about that. For now, I guess let's go ahead and get our headlands on this field. Oh, you know, I just noticed. Yeah, I turned this traffic off because I didn't want there to be... Oh, someone asked me in a comment, the settings I'm running on this map, just default. So all the default settings. I just picked new farmer, no start farm. I don't think I changed anything. Actually, that said, oh, I turned automatic engine start off. If that matters, it doesn't matter. I turned that off. I always turn off these. Yeah, I always turn these off. Because the way I see it, if the AI worker runs out of something, then he runs out of something. I don't think he should have a magic fill button that I don't have, right? So I always turn those off, just how I do it. but all the settings are just default. I didn't see any need. I don't see any need to make the economy harder because, okay, so here's my view on that, how that goes. All that does is just make it so your crop sells for less money. You know, that's like a game like, say, okay, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Increasing the difficulty, the only thing that does is make you have less health and the enemy have more health, right? I mean, you know, what's in games like that, it's the same thing here. All it does is make your crops sell for less money. What I'm saying, see, it's the same thing. It's not really making things more difficult, it's just making things more annoying. Now, that's the way I see it. So as far as economy rated by difficulty, I don't see setting the economy any harder makes it technically harder, just makes it more annoying. Difficulty, the way I interpret it, is by doing a challenge like we're doing here, creating a homestead, running things like realistic weather and doing irrigation ourselves. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Now, that's my view on difficulty. That said, so yeah, I'm just running it on the default, however it is. Yeah. I guess I'm saying, yeah. I don't like the fact that it says easy on the economic difficulty, but at the same time, I don't see any reason to purposely make my crops sell for less. I will rather instead introduce other elements that add unique challenges to the game. Okay, I'm looking for a spot to back up here. I turned on the traffic specifically because, well, we need this challenge here. We need the challenge of, there needs to be a reason to do the headlands so that we're not turning around on the road because there's traffic there. All right, let's get down the back side of the field here. That is a beautiful view. This right here, that is gorgeous. That is, you know, I think that's thumbnail worthy. Wow. Oh, darn corn, get out of my way. Yeah, that's gorgeous right there. If you play on PC, I don't know if you can get on console or not. If you play it on PC, a mod to hide the interface. Very good. Yeah, it looks cool, but honestly, it'll probably make a pretty lousy thumbnail because those clouds. Yeah, the clouds will screw up if you mess with the brightness and contrast too much. That's a beautiful field, though. I like harvesting myself. I've been known to hire a worker if I'm multitasking and I have other things I have to do, or it could be such a big field that I'm running multiple harvesters, or it could be such a thing that I'm running trips back and forth with the tipper. This is not any of those cases. This is a case where I'm going to enjoy driving the harvester myself because there's nothing else we need to be doing in the meantime. Oh, look, we got some withered crops out there in the field. It looks like, yeah, some parts of the field got kind of dry. Actually, let's have a look at that. Stop this here. So, yeah, I didn't notice the... Actually, it says... Yeah, our moisture, it says, is a little low. Yeah, I see some dead crops out here. I like the mod realistic weather. I mentioned before that I'm not running precision farming because I decided to run this instead. I don't know if they play well together or not. I'm working under the assumption that they may not work together because they both alter fundamental crop values and they both add things to the menu. Like this adds this menu here, so yeah, I don't make mods for Farming Simulator, so I don't know, but I think they might interfere. So we're running realistic weather in lieu of precision farming. I like those little silos over there. I've got some, we've got a selection of silos that we can replace those with as the farm grows. I want to stick with, I like flat bottom bins. I like using the augers to fill things up. I like things that are less automatic, things that I have to do myself around the farm personally, right? Yeah, you always see me loading the, you know, I don't use auto load trailers. You always see me loading the trailers. And I like using augers to load silos. So anyway, I found some good flat bottom bins. The game has a selection. No, not really. The game has some. I found some more online. Some decent affordable ones. Let's get this started here. Let's see here. If we go up to silos, yeah, here's these little guys here. So those were $1,500 a piece. And then if we go down, I should have some affordable. Yeah, this guy here, he's kind of small though. This guy here holds 125,000 liters. This guy right here is probably what I'm going to use. He holds 500,000 liters. And then, so yeah, I like these. I found these on somewhere. And could build these. Now, I like to use these. And I like to use them. Yeah, I just noticed it's not getting all the way to the edge of the field. It's leaving some sorghum on the edge. Interesting. Well, we'll come back and get that. I'm glad I saw that. I like to use the flat bottom bins, and though you can put multiple crops in each one, I think that's cheating, because as far as I know, one bin holds one kind of crop. So that's the way I like to do it. We'll have separate bins for each kind of crop. Yeah. This is going to be a cool farm. I hope the plan is for there to be a lot of attention to detail and things like that. So is there a line there for that crop? Did I miss a line, or is it just not counting that crop there on the edge of the field? Well, either way, I saw it, so we're going to go back and we're going to get this. Guys, I'm going to finish working here and have a great September. This is going to be really cool. I like this homestead a lot. Yeah, tell me what you think in the comments down below. I like the idea of this challenge. We're going to keep going with this, see how this goes. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. I appreciate the views. Let me know and down in the comments. I always read the comments and I get back to you. So I'll probably catch up with you guys probably next month. This is going to be a long job. And I knew that. I knew that I can't have an episode span this job because it would be nothing but me driving the harvester. This is going to take hours. I mean, come on, this is a 22-acre field. This is a small harvester. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this, though. And I'll catch up with you guys next time. Thanks so much. Peace out. The drive from the shop. Come on, every fall. How often is this thing going to autosave? The drive from the shop, 90% of the drive from the shop is this